a smoother transition. Now this needs to go away. Wait. This needs to be here too, sorry. Okay, so this little letter needs to go away, so we're going to scroll it up. So we'll hit P. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're actually on the wrong one, of course. So hit P. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we'll scale that guy. Or not scale, but we'll move him up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll go back and we'll hit M for the mask. And we're actually going to keyframe the mask path. Because it needs to look like it's just going up and kind of disappearing. So as we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we'll bring this back down here. And we'll set that to easy ease, as well as the position keyframe for the letter, easy ease. This needs to go away. We can just fade that away. Well, nah, let's move it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's move it over here. Easy ease keyframes to make it smoother. And I think that gets everything. Yep. So then let's bring in the drawing. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here it's supposed to be in if we hit P. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Move it back. We can actually animate the rotation. That's what I had in the first one. If we hit R and we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we can just do it like that. So when he comes in, he's kind of moving in like this. Set those to easy ease as well as the position. It looks much better with easy ease. It kind of slows down to a stop instead of just stops suddenly. Rad chart. Okay. This one we can have slide in from the left. That could be cool. So at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it's here, and then go back. It will be over here. Set those to easy ease. And, of course, to make everything look perfect and blend together, we need to turn on motion blur. Motion blur is the key to everything. It'll blend everything together. It'll make it look real. It'll make it look awesome. So make sure if anything's moving, turn on motion blur. So, Pipboy needs motion blur. This needs motion blur. Motion blur. Pretty much all this stuff. Rad warning. Turn motion blur on for that. Battery is actually not moving. This stuff is not moving. Let's see. None of this stuff is moving. So, and then make sure once you turn it on here, turn it on for the composition right here. And you see already it's got motion blur. So let's take a look, see what it looks like. You know, everything's flashing. Warning, warning. And then they fly away and fly into position. Alright, 5 frames. A little too fast. So let's can select everything and hit U and select all these keyframes here. Pretty much all the ones that we're moving, that are transitioning in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and let's just move it and make it 10. That way it'll be a little slower, a little more noticeable. Awesome. Alright, so now let's animate this page. We already have this animating. We just need to flash this here. So let's go to, let's see, what is it, rad chart? And go to the 234 and go to the opacity and paste these keyframes in because we still have them. Same thing for the arrow. And then we'll have, that'll be flashing as well with everything. And I don't think anything else needs to be flashing, really. You know, you can do whatever you guys want. You can add whatever you want in here. This can be spinning, could be animating with the arm, moving up and down with the puppet tool if you want. You know, just keep it detailed, you know. It'll look good. So let's see if it'll work. Alright, so let's work on the overall look of this thing, because it looks pretty perfect. And that's not a good thing. So let's go down and take the vignette and bring it up. And it's gonna cause, yeah, this nasty looking look here. Let's delete levels. And let's go to brightness and contrast. See, look how bad it looks without the vignette. Let's take this down to half. Bring this to negative 100. Alright, and then let's grunge it up a bit and bring this grunge texture. And we'll just scale that in to about there. And we'll set it to soft light. It looks so awesome right there, because it looks all nasty and worn. And what else? Oh yeah, let's go and layer, new adjustment layer. Bring that down here. We'll go to noise. Throw some noise on there. Let's bring it up to 10. Let's see what 10 looks like. Oh, I forgot. It doesn't work. 10. Try 20. We'll probably stick with 15. That way it'll look kind of like a nasty old TV. And one thing that the TVs have is they have like that bulge, kind of like a little like bulge when it's coming up. But the footage here, it's more of a LCD screen instead of a TV, so I just left it flat instead of it kind of like bending at the corners. So that was one thing that I kind of took out at the end. We'll call this noise. And I think that's it. So let's talk about motion tracking this composition onto this screen, because the original looks like this. I took this out and I added Pipboy 2500. We don't have to do that. Color correction, of course. Here's the composition, Pipboy. And this is just a mask for the thumb when we have to mask over when he presses the button. So let's get started with the motion tracking. So let's take our Pipboy composition and I guess that's comp 1. Go here and we'll drag comp 1 into this here. Now, usually I guess you would make the composition a little bigger, because this is full 1080p HD footage here. So let's see, we're going to let's delete all this here. And then take our comp and we're going to go to the beginning frame and we're going to go to corner pin. I know I say a lot, I'm sorry. I'm sure it's gotten pretty annoying by now. Okay, so go to third quality and we'll drag these corners to the corners. And then double click the layer, or not double click the layer, but hold down here and go to the ellipse tool, then not the ellipse tool, I'm sorry guys, rounded rectangle tool, double click that and you get a little rounded edges here. And obviously this does not look real. It's pretty bad because it doesn't look like it's actually on the screen, because if you were to hide this you could see his reflection. So let's set it to add. See what that does for us. And we will take that down to 50%. And then we'll duplicate that and maybe set it to normal. Hit T. Yeah, 50%. Maybe set the add layer to 75. 25. Now we'll do 50-50. Or 50-25 is good too. Sorry. Just as long as you can see the reflection in here. What's next? Oh, one thing we can do. Go into this composition and take the background, which is actually just the grid layer, right? Control D, duplicate that, and let's set it to add. And we're going to make a selection about there. I'm sorry, we're gonna have to pre-compose it because it doesn't work with the grid. Just call this TV, and then we'll set it to add. Mask it, feather it, and then take this, bring it up here, and we'll just go from maybe here, hit P, and go over here, something, and bring it down. It just makes it look kind of like it's static, you know? And we'll put, it's moving, so what are we going to do? We'll put motion blur on it. We don't want it to go too fast, though. And that's probably a little too fast. We just want to make it look like it was, you know, recorded with, maybe not a crappy video camera, but just something that gave it kind of feedback when you were recording the lens. We'll give it a glow, I think. It'll look kind of cool when it pans down. But let's motion track this. Save our footage here, or our composition, and we'll select this layer, go to motion tracking, track motion, position, rotation, and if you were zooming in you would check scale. But what I do usually when I'm tracking screens like this is I just bring it to the corners. Scale it up, then bring the inner one in here. It'll go a little bit slower, but it'll be a more accurate track. Bring this one here. Scale it up, bring it in, and analyze forward. And it's going to take a very long time. I would suggest bring them in maybe a little closer, a little smaller. But I'll pause this and I'll come back when it's done. Alright, so the track is done. Looks pretty good. Let's go to Layer, New Null Object, and we will go to Edit Target, and we'll put on Null. And alright, and we'll apply it to the X and Y. And the null object just holds all the position data that we just tracked. Sorry guys, it's like really early in the morning. I'm hungry. I'm eating pretzels here. So, we'll go to the beginning. We'll turn on our compositions. Let's go in here and turn everything back on. Alright, and let's select both of these compositions and parent them with this little pick whip here to the null object. So wherever the null object goes, these compositions go, which means it'll stick right on to the footage here. And of course they're moving, so we turn on motion blur. Don't forget, it's going to sell your effect. So if we zoom in here, this looks pretty good. A nice nasty screen. Fades off at the edges. It really looks nasty. You can see his reflection in here, right here, and then you have the motion blur for these objects coming in from the side. It looks really, really good. The only thing you'd have to do is mask out his thumb. And I hate rotoscoping so much. It's probably the worst thing in the whole world because it takes forever. This thumb is easy, but I'll tell you, other stuff, oh my gosh, it's terrible. So, to rotoscope that out, you would just take this, Control D, move it above, right? And you would mask around the thumb. This is my favorite thing to do. It's great. And end it there, so that you just have this layer on top. And you would feather it so it's not just a straight edge there. So I'll do that. I won't bore you guys doing that. I'll do that later. Just make sure, don't forget to do that, because it's not going to look too good if you don't. But let's test out our track and see if it looks good. I know it's going to go real slow, but once again, it's big footage, so. But yeah, this movie, we filmed one movie, we filmed a Fallout 3 movie once, and a lot of people said it was too much like Stalker, so we changed the name to Stalker short film. And we're like, hey, let's do a Fallout one. Let's do another Fallout one with like Pipboys and all this stuff related to Fallout, because it'd be awesome. So me and my friend Brett, we did that. And if you want to see it, you can subscribe to my channel on YouTube, www.youtube.com/Punisher. And if you already are, then great. The movie will be done, and maybe by next week. I'm still doing the effects for it, so I thought I'd do a tutorial while I was at it. Alright, so let's see what that looks like. Looks pretty good. You could retrack if you need to, if it doesn't look good enough. But let's see, let's mess around with the blending options here. Let's turn that off. And that is bright. Let's actually try going to layer, new, adjustment layer. Bring the adjustment layer down here. And let's color correct it just a little bit. For Fallout 3 style, I like to use color balance and preserve luminosity, and we'll bring the highlights to yellow, and then we'll take the shadows and we'll put them to blue, and then we'll go to tint, and we'll bring the tint above the color balance. We'll set it to like 35. And it looks pretty cool. And then we'll turn this on, and yeah, I mean, it's still super blown out. So let's mess with the blending options a bit. If you hold shift and you work with the plus and minus button next to the 0, you can move between blending options. And just when you're doing this, the best thing to do is really to keep the shadow, not the shadow, but the reflection in the I guess the background, because if it was just a picture placed here, it wouldn't look good. So I think screen looks pretty good. It works for us. And there you go. There's your TV thing coming down from the top. So I mean, that's really it. This can be used for a lot of things. Like I did one shot where I put like a motion tracker kind of thing on an iPod, and I did another shot where a guy was holding a GPS like this, and it was like kind of like a radar thing where he like was finding guys like kind of Metal Gear Solid style. But I thought this would be a good tutorial because, I don't think it's been done before. It's pretty unique, and since I'm working on the film, it wasn't a bad idea to do. So, yeah, once again, check it out at www.youtube.com/Punisher. That's just Punisher with a W instead of a U. And, yeah, thanks for watching and bearing through my tutorial at 2:30 in the morning here. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.